Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. It's not a wine video, it's not a wine tasting unfortunately, it's an explanation, if you will, of what I have had to go through the last couple of weeks in order to, try to get myself healthy. So the reason there were no wine tastings last week was because I have been officially diagnosed by my doctor with what is called gastroesophageal reflux disease. Essentially, there's acid backing up from my stomach into the esophagus, and I've had a chronic cough, sour stomach, certain foods, especially spicy foods, fried fatty foods, other stuff is really just irritated my stomach and therefore the esophagus. One of those foods happens to be, in general, alcohol, but in their wine. That's why I haven't done a wine tasting this past week. Now, what specifically GERD focuses on is the lower esophageal sphincter. And yes, there's an upper esophageal sphincter. Those muscles allow the food to go through from the mouth, throat, into the stomach. Ideally, they're supposed to close to prevent stomach acid from going back up. In GERD, the upper and lower esophageal sphincters do not allow the acid to stay in the stomach. They leak acid into the esophagus. It can even go into the lungs. Excuse me. Which is called pulmonary reflux disease. Very nasty, very unfortunate. So, let me just quick go over some symptoms here. For you guys, I have a thing over here, so I have my own notes. Now, for me, there's the burning in the throat. It's basically chronic acid reflux, chronic heartburn. Usually with heartburn, you get it once. Oh, I ate too much, or I had this meal, so I need my Tums. Rolaids, basically calcium carbonate. Very simple stuff. GERD's more complicated. The acid it continuously refluxes. There's continuous heartburn, and so you get the burning sensation, the chest pain, the cough. I've had the feeling of a lump in my throat, which, if left untreated, you can actually get what's called Barrett's esophagus. It's inflamed tissue in the esophagus, which can lead to esophageal cancer. If the acid actually gets into the lungs, you get lung cancer. You get a lot of nasty stuff. You don't want stomach acid going anywhere but the stomach. It's called stomach acid all around. It also disrupts your sleep as well, which, golly, my sleep these days. So, if Tums doesn't work, what do you do? What my doctor has me on, are two types of antacids. We have H2 blockers, which I have Zantac for, and then a proton pump inhibitor, it's called Prilosec. The proton pump inhibitor takes a while to actually work. It's more delay release. Once you start on it, you gotta stay on it so it actually keeps working. Eventually, we'll heal the esophagus. If it is GERD, just gotta make sure that you avoid those foods, and in worst case scenario, which is what my doctor said, if my symptoms don't improve, they're gonna do an EGD. Basically, put a tube down the throat with a camera, look in the stomach, possibly do some biopsies, see the extent of the damage. Is there also cancer? They could also check for what's called Helicobacter pylori, which is a bacterial infection that can cause peptic and stomach ulcers. Very, very nasty stuff. It's not something you really want. And if you're on these proton pump inhibitors and H2 blockers for a long time, you actually have an increased risk of an H. pylori infection because your stomach acid kind of kills most of the bacteria. So if you're inhibiting the acid that's supposed to kill the bacteria, yeah, you get that. Well, you have a high risk anyway, and it sucks. So, let's see. Anything else I want to go over? What on earth is that? Frequent acid reflux. Oh, risk factors. Here we go. Obesity. Yeah. A hiatal hernia. Basically, your stomach decides to go up into your diaphragm. And, obviously, it's a surgical procedure to get the stomach back down. Because you don't want your stomach in your diaphragm. I don't. Let's see. Some other stuff here. Smoking's also a trigger. If you eat too late at night and you immediately lie down, the acid, as you're lying down, your stomach's here, and then it just decides to go whoop. It doesn't go whoop. So, there's that problem. Actually, taking such medication such as aspirin. Fun fact, I actually did previously have a little ulcer in the esophagus. I had too much aspirin. There was an abdominal pain issue that I had. I took too much aspirin by accident. Ulcer. Ew. That was 2 weeks. It went away. It was great. Actually, it was more like 4 weeks. But that's because it took 4 weeks to actually get to the GI doctor. And then we kind of just stared at each other because, I was okay. It was a fun staring match. I think I lost, though. So, ulcers, nasty stuff. And I'm getting this from, the Mayo Clinic. I've done extensive research on this, like, the entire past week. And when I finally went to the doctor and explained my symptoms and what I was looking at and said, hey, I think it's this, and he's like, you've basically already done my work for me. I honestly don't know why you're here. And then we talked about my blood pressure for half an hour, and now I'm on something else. And that's a different conversation for a different video. This is GERD. Okay, the antacids, H2 blockers, PPIs, the surgeries. Oh, here we go. Here's another thing. So another surgical option is they have these magnetic beads that go over your esophageal sphincter, I think it's the lower part, that somehow allow the food to go down, but prevent the acid from going up. Still don't know how that really works when it's a magnet thing, but, they have it. I think long term, I'm probably going to have to, obviously, lifestyle, home remedies, not be fat. Good luck. Stop smoking. Don't even smoke, so it's great. Elevating the head of the bed. So I have my, it's not in camera view, but there's a wedge. And I like my wedge. Might need to clean my wedge, though. But I do have a wedge. I can lift my head up. Don't lie down after a meal. I do that all the time. Please actually don't. Eat food slowly, chew thoroughly. Yeah, I need to do more of that. Avoiding the food and drinks. Harder for me, at least, because you guys know that I do wine tastings. So, as far as how I'm going to take care of that, great question. Obviously, there weren't any tastings last week. We'll try to do one this week. Not 100% sure. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry. When the throat gets too dry, that really aggravates the coughing, which aggravates the reflux. And yeah, stay hydrated, everybody. Seriously. So, where was I? Oh my gosh. Okay, wine tastings, right. I was gonna try one last week, ended up not. Will I try one this week? Possibly. I do have family coming over this weekend, so I'm not 100% sure how we're gonna line all of that up, we are supposed to be doing a wine trip. I'll figure that out later on. And then next weekend, actually it's the following weekend because next weekend it's weird. I'm recording this on a Sunday. So after next weekend is another wine trip I'm doing. So may or may not do a wine tasting. This is going to be challenging. I will figure it out. One way or another. Let me know in the comments what you guys want to see until I kind of get over this, hopefully. And let's see what else. Medical information, ask your doctor what to expect from your doctor, and all of this fun stuff. Yeah. So that's really kind of my spiel of why there were no wine tastings done last week. So, apologies on that. Unfortunately, there's no cool intro for this because I'm not doing a tasting. And I usually don't drink on the weekends anyway, so that's why I'm not doing a tasting now. So, somewhere possibly between Monday and Thursday, there may or may not be a tasting. Not sure. If I do have some drinks with the family and it happens to be wine, and then maybe I'll try to sneak a quick tasting video in somewhere. Not even sure. I'll figure it out. Thank you guys so much for watching this and giving support to the channel. Leaving the like, subscribing. It really does help. I do appreciate it a lot. And I just hope I can give you guys the same content in the future. And if I have to change it, we'll cross the bridges when we get there. But hopefully we can get some more wine tastings done. And then if not, I have no idea. Yikes. No, I think I've bored you guys long enough with all of that. And I will bid all of you adieu. Have a wonderful day. And thank you all for watching.